decade. Yet there's one thing that seems to be missing from the center of those projects: complex female characters. But maybe things are changing. Between some really iconic television shows that have sprouted up in the last few years to some wildly original movies headed for the big screen, there seems to be a sea change afoot. Today, we're lucky enough to have five fine women here with us to discuss what's fun and challenging about playing these roles and what they think about the changing Hollywood landscape. Please help me in welcoming. She's been in a slew of horror films, played John McClane's daughter in the last Die Hard, and showed off her singing talents in Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof. You'll see her next month as Ramona Flowers and Scott Pilgrim. Please welcome Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Also in next month's Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, she plays probably the best named heroine in modern movies today, Knives Chow. Please welcome Ellen Wong. You may remember her as the born-again Christian high schooler in the indie cult hit Saved, or as Emile Hirsch's little sister in Into the Wild. Next, she'll co-star in Zack Snyder's edgy actioner Sucker Punch. Please welcome Jenna Malone. From Fringe, she plays the all-business special. Please join me in welcoming Anna Torv. Characters that you were drawn to? Anyone that comes to mind?
Cliche. I mean, I used to play Wonder Woman when I was, 4, because I loved the glasses and the outfit. I'd go to the end of the street and quickly change and come back.
So I found there was more women to look up to in the Disney animated films, I mean, that was the ones when I was younger, those were the only heroines I knew. I mean, besides when I was even a little bit older and, Fifth Element, I thought that kind of rocked.
What about you girls?
Yeah, I mean, I love anything involving movement and action. I think the most iconic one to me would be like Sigourney Weaver in Alien. When I saw that at a young age, I became pretty obsessed with that and kind of in love with her.
Sure.
Yeah, and playing on the Disney aspect too, it's just Mulan was always something, a story that got me to really want to go out there and just, stand up for what I really believed in.
Right.
Stay true to myself.
Now, in the roles you are currently playing, were there roles that you fought for and you went after, or were they parts that fell into your lap? Elizabeth?
I was just laughing because I was thinking about how hard I fought for Juliet, and then the fighting came after for me with Erica, trying to figure out who she is and what to do and that sort of thing. But I remember I auditioned like 7 times for Juliet, and with Erica they offered the part to me, and that was more terrifying because because it actually felt somehow like maybe I wanted to show what I could do first, so it was a bit off-putting for me, but then really great at the end of it. So no, it seemed to me that I was the only 40-year-old at the time. That might work really well.
Yeah.
And Hannah, what about you? Did you have to audition for Fringe?
Yeah, I have to say, yeah. Yeah, I think it was one of the easiest auditions I've actually ever done. I auditioned when I was in Australia, and I'm the opposite. Because I think if you have to, I sometimes think if you have to go in 7 times, then there's something that they're not, and I always get paranoid that they're not quite sure, but if you go in once or twice, then you go, oh, you fit whatever it is they're looking for.
And
I'll try that. They don't know. You can go in 20 times, get the offer straight up. It's always a fight. You know, whether the fight starts in the beginning at the audition or in the editing room, or in the 5th week in the middle of the job. I mean, you got to fight some fight. Sucker Punch was it was a bit of a fight. There was we had to show them a lot of different aspects, but I think once I got in the room with Zach, it just sort of fell into pieces. Like perfect placement.
did you know what he was looking for?
I had no idea. I tried not to read about that. One part tells you, your agent, well, I think they're doing this, and then, everyone else says this, and then there's these people going in for this, and you can't help but just bring what you bring to the table. I've never really been into, being an apple and trying to sell them an orange, so, but yeah, it worked out.
Ellen, what about you?
I mean, I don't think anything ever really falls into your lap. I think you have to always work hard to, be successful. And I think success is not effortless, And I think with this role, I really felt a connection with her from the very beginning, and just this need to play just this girl who's just trying to find her place in this crazy world. And I thought that's something that I really connected with, and I just tried to be myself in the audition, and that's what came through. And I think that's how it all worked out.
And Mary?
My situation is kind of ironic because of all of the parts that I've played, Ramona is the one that I would have fought the most for and the hardest for, and it's one of the only parts I've ever been offered without auditioning.
Wow.
So it was really strange and shocking to me. I did have several meetings with Edgar and several lengthy discussions and things like that, and I kept expecting to be okay. I would even say, okay, let me know when you want me to come in and read, or you want me to read with Michael, and they ended up offering to me, and I was just really confused and shocked because that never happens. And I think it's a testament to Edgar's imagination that he trusted me enough to know that I could do it.
And why would that have been the one role you would have fought for? What about Ramona attracted you?
It's by far the coolest character I've ever played. I mean, she's so enigmatic and interesting and strong, and she gets to kick ass, and she takes care of herself, and she's
I want to go to the top.
there's also like a real kind of tragic sensibility to her, and so it's just so layered and interesting, and you never get the chance to play parts like that, not enough at least.
Now, do you guys find today in Hollywood that because this type of projects, the sci-fi genre types of projects, are the dominant form of entertainment, that you really need to open yourself up to sci-fi, even if it's not something that's inherently interesting, in order to have a successful career? I mean, do you find that because it's so dominant now today, it's the type of entertainment?
I love that it's dominant.
Yeah.
I'm a huge sci-fi fan. I imagine I must feel differently, but to me, I've always felt like there's amazing women in sci-fi. There's amazing women in books. In sci-fi books, there seems to be kind of a wealth of imagination and support for that, and I've always loved that. I've always gravitated towards that. I was brought up with a bunch of women, never told that there was anything I couldn't do, and I feel like sci-fi echoes that.
Yeah.